Good evening. It's wonderful to have you all here tonight. If you would, at this time, please silence your cell phones. And I'll let you know that these proceedings are being recorded. So for those of you physically present in the council chambers who desire to address the City Council during the meeting, please complete a request to speak form. They're available at the front entrance. You'll present it to the city clerk, and speakers physically present and any that are participating via Zoom will be called upon at the appropriate time. Each person will be allowed 3 minutes speaking time. I now call to order City Council meeting for December 13th, 2022. Our invocation tonight will be offered by Pastor Mark Matthews of the Grandview Baptist Church. If you would please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Let's pray. Father, this evening we come to you and we're grateful that we can gather together as part of this city and do work concerning your city. I pray now for the council members this evening, Lord, the mayor and all the councilmen and women, that you would grant them the wisdom that you gave Solomon so many years ago. Pray that they would seek your face for that wisdom on a regular basis. I pray for our city manager as well, Lord Conrad, that you would be with him and protect him. But tonight, Lord, I especially want to pray for those men and women that serve our city in uniform, both the sheriff's department and the fire and EMT service, that they're here to protect our city and protect us, and we always want to lift them up in prayer and pray that you would protect them. And Lord, also we want to include in our prayer this evening all the men and women from this city that are serving all across this world and supporting our country and the armed services. Pray that you would protect them and bring them home safely to us here at Grand Terrace, Lord. And now we just beseech you and thank you for this opportunity once again. Pray your blessings on this evening. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. If you would, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor. I appreciate that. Madam City Clerk, may we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Allen.
Present.
Councilmember Wilson.
I am here.
Councilmember Robles.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Hussey.
Present.
Mayor McNabo.
Present.
Madam Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. First item of business tonight is the election results. Declaration of results for the November 8th, 2022 municipal election. Deborah Thomas, our city clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Deborah Thomas, city clerk. This staff report supports all adopted goals and the city's council's 2030 vision and supports all adopted core values. Back in May of 2022, the city consolidated its general municipal election with the San Bernardino County Registrar of Voters Office. And they canvassed our elections for us and certified those results on December 8th. The amount of ballots cast is required to be placed in our resolution, so at this time I will go ahead and identify that number for you. So the whole number of ballots cast in the precinct except vote by mail was 1,366. The whole number of vote by mail voter ballots cast in the city was 8,583, making a total of 9,961 ballots cast in the city. We had one full-term four-year mayor position available, as well as a four-year term council member position available. In addition, we had Measure M, which was a transient occupancy tax imposing a hotel charge upon guests staying in hotels. As a result of the election, William Hussey was elected mayor for the four-year term. Doug Wilson was elected, running unopposed, as council member for a four-year term. Additionally, the transient occupancy tax passed with 1,895 votes compared to 1,765. At this time, it is a recommendation of staff that the City Council adopt this resolution. That is the end of my staff report. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. And I wish to say congratulations to Mayor-elect Hussey, and congratulations to re-elected Councilmember Doug Wilson. And if there aren't any questions, I'm going to start it off and make a motion to accept these results.
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion or questions before we vote? We'll let the city clerk get back to her desk.
And I was,
Are we ready?
yes.
All right, please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right. And we next have special presentation. So Mayor-elect Hussey.
Deborah. Before we get started with the presentation, I'd like to let the council say any words. Anybody like to say something? Okay. Councilmember Wilson.
I'd just like to start off by saying it's been a pleasure, obviously. Mayor McNaboe, you have increased your education in relation to the city and as well as your personal situation. You've gone through some medical circumstances that a lot of people don't know about, and you persevered. You're a very strong individual. I enjoy our conversations, and you have been a fine example to me, and I thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say this, been 12 years since we started doing the city kind of thing together, and it's going to be quite a different change. I value the time that we had together, and you have my utmost. I'm a fan. I mean, how much you persevere. I mean, it's just remarkable, and I always pray for you, and I pray for your health. You know that, and God bless you, and we'll miss you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Allen.
I used to sit out there in the audience like these folks do, a long time before I was ever on the council or even on the planning commission. But when you were first came up to the council from the planning commission, and I watched you make some controversial decisions, and I respected it very much. And I remember that you had some opinions that I thought were very logical and sound, and I thought, this is the kind of person that I would like to see leading our city. And you ended up doing that very thing. And like Doug, I learned a lot from you. And thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
Well, Darcy, thank you for your leadership. And I've known you a while, and I appreciate what you've done for the city, and I hope that you continue to do stuff for the city. I'm sure I'll see you guys out there walking and stuff. But thank you very much, and your family's always in our prayers and stuff. But I really appreciate everything you did for us, and it's been a learning experience. We had some tough choices, but I know we went through the storm together as a team, and you were the head of the wheel there, and driving us through that storm. But a team effort, and, I really appreciate everything, all your knowledge and experience that you gave this city. The city's blessed to have you, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
And then, going on that, well, this is presented to Darcy McAboo, Mayor. Well, you've been working here for a long time, so you're going to use that retirement check and go somewhere?
I'll be expecting it.
Oh, okay. I don't think it's as good as CalPERS or something, I don't know, but.
Might get you on Carnival.
Career service and outstanding leadership commitment and dedication shown to the Grand Terrace City Council, Grand Terrace Planning Commission, and the City of Grand Terrace from March 16, 2006 till December 8, 2022, providing a community exemplary quality of life. And this is presented by the Grand Terrace City Council. And then we have, of course, I don't know, maybe you could throw this at Jim once in a while if you just have dinner ready or something, but this thing right here is the gavel. And that gavel's been through a lot, yeah. And, but this one's brand new, so you get to use this, but it's presented to Darcy McAboo for dedication of service as mayor. And this is presented by the City Council and the staff in the City of Grand Terrace. And then last but not least, here's the key to the city. I think this might get you out of speeding tickets. Is that right? But if you put your regular keys on, this thing's pretty heavy. You might hurt your back. I don't know. So, but anyway, the key to the city. And
Oh, that's
you always
wonderful.
have the key to the city in our heart.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
So,
This
thank
is,
you.
this is beautiful.
And it's standing. And we have Scott Ward, the field representative supervisor for Don Rao's office. I got my sister Don Rowe here, so I know it's like Rao. But office to present a service award to the mayor.
You're kidding. You have a sister named Dawn?
Yes, Don, stand up.
Wow.
It's the same one.
Wow.
Let's pronounce, Rowe instead of Rao, so it's.
Well, Supervisor Rao could not make it tonight due to an existing commitment on her calendar. So she wants to be the one who presents the board proclamation to you, the proclamation from the Board of Supervisors. So in lieu of that tonight, I have a certificate of recognition until Dawn can actually, Supervisor Rao can actually do the presentation. You two have worked together on different boards and commissions, so she feels a real connection to you, and she wants to be the one to do that. I am here tonight to thank you for your service to this city, not only this city, but the county. I want to tell everybody in the room, anybody that's watching online too, when you serve on a city council or serve as the mayor, that's not where your service stops. You get dragged onto commissions, coerced, begged, asked to serve on boards, commissions that affect more than just the city. It's service to all of the citizens of the county. Mayor McNaboe has served admirably on those commissions. So we thank you for that. You've helped improve the quality of life, not only for your constituents in Grand Terrace, but people all over the largest county in the United States. And for that, we thank you. You're an exemplary public servant, and we hope that future generations can model what they do off how you've served the city of Grand Terrace. Mayor McNaboe, I'm going to leave this with your city clerk. Thank you very much for your service.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here on behalf of the supervisor, and we'll work to coordinate a time where we can get together.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Right.
Well, Darcy, it's all yours.
All right. And so I gave a lot of thought to how to say farewell, and so I've put some thoughts down on paper so that I don't get off track. And this will be the last report, a council report that my colleagues need to listen to. So it's only 5 pages. No, okay. So I begin it with farewell. It's been a pleasure and an honor to serve the city of Grand Terrace as a member of the council and its mayor for 12 years. When I joined the council in 2010, the city finances were not in good shape. Shortly after that, to make matters worse, the state of California, through its dissolution of redevelopment agencies, made our situation much tougher. You may recall there were some who even discussed disincorporation of our city. But we've come a long way since those days, and the city is not only financially viable, but it's sustainable. And I am pleased that I was part of the council teams who moved us from this poor condition to where we are today. Those teams that I mentioned, because the councils that I serve with, we all had the same idea that this was a wonderful city and it was worth making sustainable again. So thank you to those who have been part of this accomplishment, current and past council members making tough decisions, city staff who worked a lot of hours, residents who have stepped in to volunteer their time and efforts, allowing us to keep our parks open, our leagues thriving, and continue community events to enhance the quality of life for all of our residents. Service organizations also played the role, as they always have, such as the Women's Club and the Lions Club, and many others who didn't lose faith in our city, and they continued their efforts to make this a wonderful community. But the work continues, so I call on the next generation of residents to become more involved in our city. Attend council meetings and planning commission meetings. Understand the decisions that are being made and how they affect the future. Consider serving on a committee or on a commission, and when the time is right, consider running for city council. Elections are held every 2 years. So know who's running and get to understand what the issues are and support those who are running because they have decided to step up. And finally, I find satisfaction in knowing that I'm leaving council when the city is in a much better position than when I began serving. But I leave it to this council and future council, residents and staff, to continue making progress towards the success of this city. And you have my best wishes going forward. Thank you so much. And now that I have a gavel, when I come to the lectern, we'll have dueling gavels. No, it's been my honor, and thank you so much for the time we've spent serving together.
Well, thank you, Darcy. So we're going to...
I'll call the recess. So one last time, I'm going to call a recess for the city. We're going to do a little bit of reorganization, but stay tuned because when we come back from that recess, we will have the swearing in of our newly electeds. We are in recess.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started here. I get to hit this. All right, so what we're going to do now is let everybody know. I should keep everybody here till the council meeting, then do it at the end. Is that what we're going to do, Deborah? No? All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. I didn't want to do that to you. But so we're going to have myself and Mr. Wilson will be taking our oath. And then after that, we'll be saying some comments, And then we would love to have you guys stay for some refreshments while we get reorganized again. And that'd be it. Anything else, Deborah, on that? Do we have time for if somebody wants to speak, or that's going to be on public comment?
Public comment would be best.
Okay. All right. So first, somebody whistled? I got my hearing aids on. I can hear everything now. So we're going to go ahead and swear in Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, you want to go ahead and go up to the...
So raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
Doug Wilson,
Do solemnly affirm.
solemnly confirm,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance,
I will bear in what?
true faith and allegiance,
True faith and
allegiance
allegiance, thank you,
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and I will well
and faithfully
and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
Try to say again.
Upon which,
I am about to enter.
congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
These two are for you. It's your certificate of election as well.
Thank you.
Oh, congratulations, Doug. So I'm getting ready to take my oath. I would like all the past and present council members to join me up there at the podium, and as Walt's giving me the oath. If you guys could please join me, I really appreciate all past and present council members. Thank you. You're doing good. Don't be nervous.
Deborah, okay to go? Oh, okay. It's been a busy political day for me. I bid farewell to Janice Rutherford, the Second District Supervisor, this afternoon, and now I'm bidding welcome aboard to our new mayor here in Grand Terrace. So, full day. Okay, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, William Hussey,
Do solemnly affirm
solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United
to the
States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of
and the
California,
Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Good to have you. Thanks for giving me that. My pleasure. Thank you. Oh, I guess we could do that. Madam Clerk, can we take a picture with the new mayor?
Well, here comes the good part, the speech. So I'll let Councilmember Wilson go ahead and start with his. If you'd like to say some words.
Our new mayor said I should keep it short, so I'm going to, of course, now that I have a new boss, I've got to kind of pay attention. Back in 1978, November 30th, the city was formed, and there was a lot of risk involved, and a lot of experimentation, and a lot of folks that could see way out there in the future. And here we are 44 years later, and we have a city that is viable and has changed from a one-horse situation to a major metropolitan power. Anyway, I'd like to say that now you all know that I can't hear out of the right ear, right? That's the reason why I couldn't repeat things. This coming year will be the same kind of challenge that it has been. We always have to balance the benefits of the community against our actual realistic budget. And we greatly appreciate your input, and all of you are, eligible for that, because this government is the last bastion of freedom that we have in the United States. You can still talk to the people that represent you and that spend your money, in addition to. From this point forward, I'm going to do my best to support our mayor and our other council members here on the dais, and just like I've done in the past. And I did 21 years on the Planning Commission, and now 8 years, and this will start my third term on the City Council. And I've enjoyed the whole time. So I'm just appreciating your prayers and blessings, and we'll go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Wilson. So I wrote this speech and I had my wife proofread it, but I kept it short for her. But first I want to say, Galatians 6:9-10, let us not become weary in doing good, for at a proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Therefore, as we have an opportunity, let us do good for all the people, especially for those who belong in the family of believers. So I have a lot of thank yous here, and I don't want to forget anybody, so I just summed it all up on there. But, first of all, thank you guys for all coming out tonight and honor me, and, Walt for swearing me in. It's a great honor. I have big shoes to fill, but just thank you. This means a lot for everybody coming out here tonight. And I want to thank God for this path that He has given me. I pray for wisdom to lead the city and do His will. Second, I would like to thank my wife, my family, and my mother-in-law, Billy, for their support. I am blessed to have them. Oh, by the way, Debbie, I spent the money to remodel our bathroom for our campaign. Just in case you're wondering why it's not done. We could put my campaign signs up there or something, I don't know. But I want to thank the SBGOP and the National Hispanic Republican Assembly for their endorsements. Thank you, Michelle. It meant a lot for me to get that endorsement. I want to thank my friends who walked with me and prayed with me during the campaign. Please keep praying. Joe and Cheryl came down. They didn't realize how big Grand Terrace was. They thought it was small, but it was pretty big. And when you walk the streets, it's pretty big. There's a lot of hills in Grand Terrace. And thank you all for all the residents who put up my yard sign, the campaign sign. They say that the people were actually stopping at the stop sign by Ms. Gutierrez's house because they saw my big face right there. So maybe we'll use those signs, for Neighborhood Watch or something. Thank you, Gino from Melmart and Danny from Alvarado's for putting the signs in their business. I really appreciate it. And also want to thank the voters who put their trust in me and voted for me. I am blessed. Now, with that said, I want the city to move forward. I don't want to see any division or hurt feelings. I would like everybody to work with the council with a positive attitude. And enough with the cliques in the city. Every resident, no matter the age or how long they have lived here, if you're a homeowner or renters, this is a city of your investment, your home, and the volunteers are also, who put a positive attitude on here. And we have plenty of room for more volunteers if you'd like to volunteer. I want to ask if you do not have any issues that we only come up, if you do have an issue or a problem, and not only do you complain, but you come up with a solution so the council can hear it. Big thing, we don't resolve issues on 92313. It's a good site to share information, but it's not a site that's administrated by the city. A lot of people think the city's running it. It's not. That's a private site. We have no control of the input. So please contact if you have any issues, City Hall with issues, and if you can't get them resolved, that's what the council's here for. We're here to represent the people of Grand Terrace, all of us. And we treat everybody equal and fair here, no matter what little problem you have, no matter what big problem you have. If we could resolve it, we will, and we'll get you more information. Once again, I want to thank everybody for being out here. God bless, and Merry Christmas. Thank you. Now, if you would join me, we're going to take a short recess. We have some water and some cupcakes up there, and just please, and we'll take like a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back. If you want to stay for the council meetings and listen to me talk some more, you're welcome to, but I understand we have a lot of stuff to do. So everybody, thank you, and good night. Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and reconvene. Our next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. The following consent calendar items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They'll be acted upon the city council at any time without discussion. Any council member, staff member, or citizen may remove an item on the consent calendar. Do we have any removal from the consent calendars? Any item? All right, Jeff, go ahead.
No additions or removals.
Item 8.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Item 8.
Item 8. All right, we'll hold on number 8. City Manager, do you have any?
No additions or removals from us.
Okay, so we're going to remove item 8. Do I have a motion for the rest of the items?
Move, sorry, I will move 1 through 7. Move approval.
I'll second that.
So we have 1 through 7. How about 9, 10, and 11?
And 9, whoops,
And 10 and 11?
and 10, 11.
Okay, so we're going to remove item 8, and we have a motion, a second motion by Councilmember Wilson and second by Councilmember Robles. We have a vote.
Which item? Is that the?
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, item number 8. Councilmember Allen, go ahead. You have a question?
Yeah, I might have just missed it in the report that I read further on, but under the recommendation, it says waive the special event and facility use fees in the amount of $415, but there's $530 in parentheses. I'd just like to know which amount, what the amount we're,
The 530.
okay. So what is, should we just ignore the 415? All right,
Yeah, yes, please.
okay,
It's 530, and that's just a special event fee for that event.
okay. All right, that answered my question, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? You make a motion?
So I'll make a motion then to approve item 8 of the consent calendar.
Second.
Second. Do we have any reading of a resolution or adoption on this? No? Okay, please vote for item 8.
We actually do have on the ordinance, let me bring it up. So I do want to read the title of the ordinance just for the record. It is an ordinance of the city, an ordinance of the City of Grand Terrace, California, amending Title 15 of the Grand Terrace Municipal Code, thereby adopting by reference the 2022 California Building Code series, including the 2022 California Building Code, 2022 California Existing Building Code, 2022 California Residential Code, 2022 California Electrical Code, 2022 California Plumbing Code, 2022 California Green Building Standards Code, 2022 California Historical Building Code, 2022 California Mechanical Code, 2021 International Property Maintenance Code, and 1997 Uniform Code for the Abatement of Dangerous Buildings, making certain amendments to such codes as applicable due to local climatic, geological, and/or topographical conditions, and determining thereof to be exempt from CEQA pursuant to CEQA Guidelines, Section 15061B3. Thank you, Mr.
Right.
Mayor.
Thank you, City Attorney. So, vote on item 8.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is public comment. This is opportunity for members of the public to comment on any items not appearing on the regular agenda. Because of restrictions contained in California law, and the city council may not discuss or act upon any item on the agenda, but may briefly respond to statements made or ask a question of clarification. The mayor may also request a brief response from staff to question that arises during the public comment, or may request a matter be agendized for future meeting. So, Madam City Clerk, we have any public comment?
Yes, we have 4 members of the public wishing to speak, with the first being Aurora Galea.
Or really, can you come to the podium, please?
Good afternoon. This is my first meeting that I'm attending within 25 years that I'm living in Grand Terrace, this beautiful city. Congratulations first to our new mayor, and I pray also to God to give you wisdom like you ask for, to know how to take care of this city. I'm sorry for my English. My English is my second language. I do try my best. My concern, I'm sorry for coming and complaining for the first meeting. It's not like a complaining, it's like a question that I want to ask about what happened behind Paradise Street, which is, as far as I know, Griffin Park. I came end of November, and I heard that something is going to develop there, some type of, I don't know, I saw already pathway. My concern is that no one notified me, my family, neither my neighbors that I spoke with. And I don't know actually what is going on there. We would like to know as a citizen, because it's concerned about noise, that if it's going to be any further things done. Noise, attraction of homeless, lower the value of our property. I'm not sure if this piece of land is belong to the city of the state of California. I'm not sure, because as far as I know, with some pipes that it's running through that land. We are not very young people that lives on Paradise, neither on Canary. We all kind of like a city that, area that it's kind of, people live for a while there. As I live for 5 years, some people live for 40. So we are concerned, and please do the best as you can not to go further, anything like what I heard, benches and lights, I don't know. We don't know nothing. We just want to know to ask the city manager, I guess you are the city manager, right, or CEO, and our new mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will be putting a decomposed granite walking path through the middle of that with a couple of benches and a dog waste pickup station and some lighted bollards. The lights are about 4 feet off the ground to light that path in the evening, so that people that are out there currently and using that can use it in a more reasonable manner and pick up after their animals and actually sit down and use the space. And we're using state parks grant money for that.
So it'd be safer on this trail than when they're walking on the grass?
Currently, there's no path through there, so it's a safer walking path. And there is a bench someplace there'll be a bench to sit down, and there'll be some lighting so that, like now, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, somebody can use that as they pass through there and as a more usable space.
So if we had issues with a noise ordinance or homelessness, we'll just call the city and the sheriffs will take care of it?
It would either be code enforcement or the sheriff, yes.
Can we get plans or something out to the residents in that area so they can know what they're getting? Or what's going to be developed there?
I'm sure we can send something to the adjacent property owners.
And who owns that property? Is that the one with the canal going through it?
No, that's the one with the big 100-inch water line comes through there.
Okay.
It's city property, but the state has the state has the easement to it. So we can't build anything on it. We can't do anything as far as usable other than really a walking path and grass.
So you can make arrangements with the citizens who are concerned and talk to them and show them the drawings?
We will mail a sketch of what we're doing to the residents adjacent to that property.
All right, thank you. Madam City Clerk, do we have any other public comments?
Yes, yours, Burley?
Bruce Eberly. I'm a 35-year resident of Grand Terrace. What I want to talk about, well, first of all, before I lodge any complaints, I want to make sure and congratulate all of the newly elected officials, including our new mayor. And I would like to discuss the Griffin Park project. As you can tell, I don't need a microphone. There was no notification given to residents, and I'm sorry if I...
You need the microphone so we can record it.
Oh, okay. There was no notification given to residents within 600 feet of the development. If you're going to put in picnic tables and benches without restrooms, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And you can't put in restrooms because of the 9-foot water conduit Feather River project that runs through that property. The next question is, you're going to put up dog poop containers, or I think you refer to them as waste stations. Who's going to empty the trash and who's going to empty the waste stations, and is the city going to pay for the poop bags? My wife would like to know if this project was put out for bid. If yes, how many bids came in? And how do we review those documents? And I guess a question to all council members, would you like to have a dog park in your backyard? Because that's exactly what you've proposed. To my knowledge, the other dog parks in Grand Terrace are not surrounded by homes. You've got the one up on the hill, there's nothing around it. The walkway is in. We would just like to request that no lights, benches, or tables be installed. And my neighbors have the same feeling, and there's several of them here now. Bottom line is, I would appreciate someone explaining why we were not notified. And many of my neighbors have had discussions with board members, with council members, and I sent an email to every council member 2 weeks ago and have yet to receive a response from any of you. I gave in detail that there's no water system out there. It's just going to, and I don't think there's a proposed gate like we have up at Rollins Park. So it's going to be open 24/7, and I think that's going to create not only a crime issue, but a vandalism issue. Has anybody got any answers, or are you just going to listen to me?
No, sir, on public comment, we're limited to our discussion, and the city manager just discussed what you just talked about right before you came down.
So to clarify, there is no requirement under CEQA or under city law or under any ordinance that we notify anybody.
The acoustics in this building are not very good, and the people behind you
Okay,
cannot
well,
hear you.
hold on.
So there is no requirement for notification under CEQA or state law or city ordinance when we do any type of minimal, non-invasive work like that. This is not a dog park. People run their dogs. It's an active use area today. People walk through there today. People use that today. What we're putting in is a walking path and the ability for somebody to pick up and dump their dog waste, which is not happening today. Any maintenance or anything will continue to be done by the city, and the trash will be continued to be removed by the city, and it will continue to be maintained by the city. And as I said, we'll be glad to send a diagram of the work to be done to the adjacent property owners. This did go to bid, and it was presented to council. Council approved this. I'd have to look back, but it was sometime in March or April when we approved the state parks grant and the work in all the parks in the cities.
Okay. So going there was already a dog waste station at one area.
No.
There is no waste station now.
There is
People run
none?
their dogs through there. There's no place to dispose of any dog waste other than take it out with themselves, and we hope they do that.
Or borough waste.
They do or do not. The area is open, and it is not fenced off now, and there's no intention of fencing it in the future.
How often will they be picking up the dog waste when you put those containers out there?
We'll determine the frequency as we go, but at least every couple of days, and if it's more frequent as needed, we'll do that.
On the lighting, is the lighting going to eliminate in the homes that are surrounded?
No, that there are 4-foot tall lighting bollards with a light that is downcast, so no light will be projected upwards or sideways. The light will be projected at a 4-foot level and projected downwards onto the path just for a safety method, so that if there's somebody out there in the evening, we can see them, which we cannot see now, and so that there's a safer way to walk through there, which does not exist at the current time.
So the city basically upgraded a path that was already there on the green space for safety so people wouldn't get hurt walking through the grass?
We are installing a pathway for safety purposes and installing what lighting bollards and ways to keep it cleaner and usable, which it currently is not. Right now, it's one big sloping strip of green grass with nothing else there.
And once again, you'll be handing out information to the residents?
I will be mailing that to adjacent property owners.
And I'm sorry, sir, I didn't see the email. I must have missed it, so, yeah, none of us got that email. I didn't see it.
It was on
Now you look at
it
it
was
every
on your
day.
website.
Okay. So we'll look into it, and then I'll have the city clerk look into that email issue if we didn't
Okay.
get it. All right?
That's all I
Thank you.
can ask.
Thank you. Oh, you want to have something, Sylvia? Ms. Robles, go ahead.
I just wonder if this was at least vetted through the Parks Commission.
It was not.
All right, so, Madam City Clerk, we have anybody else to speak?
Yes, Suzanne Santoya.
All right, Suzanne?
Good evening, City Council, and congratulations to our new mayor, Mr. Hussey. My name is Suzanne Santoya, and I'm here to speak about a project that is concerning to myself and my fellow neighbors. A project called Griffin Park, located between Paradise and Canary and Merle Court and Palm. This green belt is the backyard to many residents, and we understand that the area will have lighting, tables, benches, and a waste container. Our concern is that this will attract unwanted guests and a place for our homeless to occupy our quiet neighborhood, and this will also bring crime. We are concerned with the waste containers as to who will pick up the poop. Will it be picked up daily, weekly? Because we will also have a smell and flies. Many of our residents weren't aware of this project. No one received notice. The walkway is in, so it's in already. But we ask you to reconsider the benches, the lighting, the table, or the waste container, because all of this adds up is to a park. We really would appreciate the City Council to terminate this project. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, we have anybody else?
We have one more, Bobby Forbes.
Bobby?
Bobby Forbes, Grand Terrace. Congratulations, Mayor. Congratulations, Doug, on staying with us on the council. I look forward to the future and the many meetings that will come that I will be in attendance of. And I hope that there will be more residents that will stay for the meetings and come to the meetings, Plan Commission and City Council meetings. So I didn't remember about what's going on up here at this green belt, but I think it's a bad idea to do anything there other than the path that you already put. So I am for the residents that didn't receive notice. I'm not surprised. You might not be required to do it, but I'm not surprised that you didn't, because that's just kind of how Grand Terrace seems to work. They don't notify anybody so that we can respond. Decomposed granite, is it going to be skateboard friendly? I haven't seen it.
It is not skateboard friendly.
Good. My other question is the closing of the parks. Those of us that maintain or take care of the fitness park in Grand Terrace, we're kind of all going crazy because we don't know who's closing the parks. We get there to close it, and it's already closed. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. We'll be there to close. There's 4 of us that work the park or close the park, and sometimes a security guard comes, sometimes somebody from the city comes that's in a work truck or code enforcement. We'd like to know what's going on because we make the effort to go there to close the park, and then it's closed. And we're all volunteers. I did it for 8 years. My friends and neighbors that are doing it now on a regular basis are very confused. So please get with us. I'm going to attend the Parks and Recs meeting in January, but I couldn't wait to say something. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Forbes. All right, City Manager, you had direction with the residents to talk to them and
Yes, sir.
see what we could do. But yes, we do need to start, like Councilman Robles, with the Parks and Recs. That's what we got that development, so we know. And then we also need to make sure that the residents are informed before any project. It might seem small, but we have to make sure that they know too. All right, so we'll go ahead and close public comment. Madam City Clerk, we have anybody else for it?
No, Mayor, we do not.
Okay, please state your name and come down here, and then we'll have you fill out a form.
My name is Arthur Santoya. I've lived here in Grand Terrace for over 40 years. I've been retired for 1 year, and I walk my dog daily through that greenbelt area. The problem with the greenbelt area is that the city doesn't maintain it. There are gopher holes throughout the greenbelt area, which you call a park. There are the residents there, the neighbors, they pick up their own poop. We carry our own bags. The problem is that the donkeys come and there's poop all over the place. And it's been there for weeks. The valves don't work. It's like a marsh up there. Nobody maintains that area except for one resident. He says he's changed 100 sprinklers over the years. So picking up donkey poop, the city can't do. They're not even doing it. They're not fixing the valves. And that area with the benches and the tables is only going to add more problems. And does the city want to pay for sheriffs to go there? They have better things to do. Because we have to chase away sometimes the kids, the homeless. I see bottles out there sometimes. A park should have a fence, a gate. This cannot have a fence or a gate because of the water pipes. So it's going to be open all the time. And that lighting is not going to do anything. You don't see residents walking their dogs at nighttime. It doesn't happen. So that's one thing to think about. But thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right.
Your Honor, may I have 15 seconds?
Okay, we're going to go ahead, but we need you guys to fill out a request to speak form too, please.
I couldn't hear a word that you said.
No, please talk.
I did not hear a word that the city manager said. You cited some reasons why you didn't notify us, and I want those reasons in writing,
because I am going to talk to my lawyer and find out if that's true, and if it is, then I think that our city charter, or whatever regulates that, needs to be changed. Because you cannot do these things in people's backyards and not notify them. So if you would email that to me, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. So we got a task ahead of us on this, so we'll take care of it. All right, anybody else? That's it? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment. Unfinished business, our public hearings, we have none. Unfinished business, none. New business, item agenda number 12. So.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Deborah Thomas, City Clerk. The staff report before you this evening supports and adopts goals of the City Council's 2030 vision and supports all adopted core values. The title of this is a selection of Mayor Pro Tem. Following the regular municipal election date held every 2 years, the City Council selects one of its own to serve as Mayor Pro Tem. Therefore, at this time, it is appropriate for the City Council to select their Mayor Pro Tem for following the regular municipal election. Government Code Section 34905 states that the City Council shall meet at the meeting at which the declaration of the election results for the general municipal election is made. And following that declaration of the election of the results, the installation of elected officials choose one of its number as Mayor Pro Tem. So at this time, it is appropriate for you to have that discussion and select your Mayor Pro Tem. That is the end of my staff report. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Councilmember Robles.
I'd like to nominate our newest city council member, Doug Wilson.
Do I have a second from?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Well, no, yeah, I'll second your nomination.
Okay.
Any comments, anybody? No, so we have a nomination by Councilman Robles and a second by myself. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem Wilson. Okay, so what are we at? Item 13. Deborah, you're getting your exercise today.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. With the election, successful campaign of our new mayor, Bill Hussey's election, there is a vacancy that has now been made available. The vacancy is a 2-year term and expires in November of 2024. There are several options on how you can fill your vacancy, and I do apologize, one of those options I did leave out of your staff report, and that was back in March of this year. Approximately, we added to the policy that you as a council could select a member of the community to interview without going through the entire advertising application process. That has to be, however, within the next 15 days, you as a council would need to select somebody that you would desire to interview. If you decide not to take that route, we can obviously still go by what the government code requires, and that would be, well, the government code does require that we have to make that selection within 60 days from the date of the certified election. So we have until February 11th to fill your vacancy. But one of those options to fill that vacancy was to, as a group, make a determination on who you'd like to interview. If you don't have anybody in particular, then of course we can go through the advertising process. And I'm going to just ask our city attorney briefly if he has anything he'd like to add to this in case I left that out.
Yes, so just as a reminder, under state law, we have 60 days until February 11th to either A, appoint someone, or B, call a special election. So you have those two options. Under the policy that the council adopted earlier this year, we set forth a structure of timing to make an appointment. It's not mandatory, it was just a suggested timeline to give some structure to the appointment process. Under the policy, we would have 7 days from the commencement of the vacancy to call a special meeting or a regular meeting to discuss the options and discuss the process that you wanted to go through. For all intents and purposes, that's what tonight is, the initial meeting. The policy then called for within 15 days of that meeting, which would be 15 days from today, 2 weeks or so, we would call a special meeting to schedule candidates to be interviewed. So if the council members had identified potential candidates, we could discuss them at that meeting and then set up some interviews. And then within 15 days of that meeting, we would actually hold the interviews and make a selection thereafter. So that was kind of the structure that we laid out. The concept at that point in time was we never know when we're going to have a vacancy in office, so we wanted to have some structure so that we weren't caught flat-footed in terms of making an appointment and not waiting to the very last minute. So again, that is just a guideline. We're not required to comply with it, just a suggested process. That's all I have.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? Okay, so if we decide, because in the past, I mean, that's one of the ways I got on here, is to have an application process and then have the council interview potential candidates, and then we'll make our selection, then 2 weeks after that, we swear them in. That's how we did in the past, right? So if we start the application process, say start the vacancy and fill it out starting today, and then have it for our next scheduled council meeting in next year, and then do the interview at the first council meeting next year, and then do our swearing in by the end of January, so we have a new council member by the end of January?
Yeah, as long as we have a candidate appointed by February 11th, we're good to go.
And that's how it's always been. So if, yeah, if we could start, put out the application and make sure everybody fills it out so we could do the interview to make it fair. You guys agree? Sylvia, Councilman Rose?
How long is the application process? I mean, how long do we leave the applications out before we cut it off? Is it 7 days or 15?
We would cut it off when we're ready to prepare the agenda.
So how many days is that going to give them?
You would have 7 days before your meeting. That would be the last day for the applications to be submitted.
So you're looking at January 3rd.
I mean, I think we just need a reasonable amount of time for the information to get out to the public that this position's available and they get applications.
We wouldn't even need to do that interview process until the second meeting in January.
That's correct.
Okay. Councilman Robles?
Yeah, I was going to say the other process was if, if someone had run for council when Doug Wilson ran, and they had done appreciably well, that'd be, someone we could look at, but we didn't have that situation. So I'd like to get this done as quickly as possible. And, I've been in this shoe too, where the first thing I applied for was an expired vacancy, and I spent all my holiday, being prepared. So if people are that interested, they will pay attention.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson, you have anything?
No comments.
So for Councilmember Allen, so our date would be the application will start tomorrow? Is that what we're doing, or when we start?
Effective tomorrow, I will go ahead and get the press release out and get all of the advertising out.
And we'll have enough time, so it'll be done by the first week of, all applications in by the first week of January?
Yeah, whatever that.
January
Whatever
3rd?
the Wednesday is before the second meeting in January. That would be the interview day.
I thought we were going to have the interview day the first, January 10th.
Well, to be clear, my understanding was we would use the first meeting of the month, which is the 11th, or 10th, I believe. The 10th, to identify the candidates, and then the council selects who they wish to interview.
Yes.
And then we have the interview on the second meeting in January.
Okay.
Yes,
That
so the
sound-
interviews, or the
Okay.
The applications
Okay.
need
I
to be
missed a
submitted.
step on that one, sorry.
Yeah.
Does that sound all right with everybody?
So applications
Yeah,
submitted.
sounds good.
Applications submitted no later than Wednesday, the 3rd.
All right, so I have a motion,
You have a motion.
a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion, a second, please vote.
Did mine go? Oh, there it goes.
Just for clarification, that would be January 4th, Wednesday, January 4th.
Yes, that's correct, Monday, January 4th.
Okay,
Motion passes unanimously.
all right, so item 14.
Mr. Mayor, council members, we had a request from one of the council members to put together an ad hoc committee for youth activities in the city. So we're bringing this forward to you to give us direction to create that ad hoc committee and for you to select who those members of that committee would be.
Okay, do you have any questions for staff on the committee? So basically, what is the committee going to consist of on this thing? What do we?
A fairly broad range of, a fairly broad scope, and really for the committee to help define its own scope of ways to engage youth in the community, provide activities for those youth, and help the city support youth groups and activities in the city.
So on part of this youth committee, because I know one of the questions, and we saw at the League of City, is the, like, high school students and possibly the, the student body at the high school, a committee for local government, they could serve on, our council for like a mayor for a month or something like that. Would that be part of the community?
I think that's a great idea, but it would be up to the ad hoc committee to define.
Okay, so that'd be something they could work on.
They would help define their own scope.
Okay. All right, no questions for staff? Well, I'd like to appoint Councilmember Robles and Councilmember Allen on this ad hoc committee. If that's all right with you guys. Mr. Allen, would you like to be on? Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to move forward the ad hoc committee and have Councilmember Robles and Councilmember Allen as the ad hoc committee members. Any other discussions?
Second.
Please vote.
Alarm.
Sorry. I pushed it too soon.
Oh, you did? Okay. Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so item 15.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Member of Council, Deborah Thomas, and before you this evening is mayor's appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. At this time, every 2 years, assignments are made at every election, and so with this election comes a reorganization, and it would be appropriate for the council to make their determination on serving on the individual boards that the city of Grand Terrace participates in. So attached to your staff report, you should have your current boards, commissions, and committee list. And at this time, it would be appropriate for you to make the selection of your board members and your delegates and your alternates. That is the end of my staff report. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, I do have some questions. The San Bernardino Valley Municipal Water District, is that board even meeting anymore?
No, the San Bernardino Valley Municipal Water District, that was an advisory committee that they actually dissolved that, I believe, wasn't that last year, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
So, let me know if I step out of bounds. So in its place, since we have our own water district here in the city and we're shareholders, can it possibly be that we have a council member there? I mean, he can't have voting rights, but possibly have a council member there to attend those water board meetings, because usually you have to put in like a 36-hour notice. I don't know if we could work together with the Riverside Highland Water Company for that.
We can reach out to is it Mr. Huff? I'm not sure if I say his
Mr.
last name.
Don Howe, yeah.
Yes, so.
Not the singer from Hawaii.
Let me reach out to him, and I'm sure that we can add that so that a member of the council could go to those meetings, and then we can just add that to this list. It would
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a Form 700
It's not
list,
like
but-
they're stepping on toes, but just because, you know, and I'm sure you guys know, we used to have the water company here and give presentation, you know, especially if we have a drought and stuff, so we could at least have a council member to let the shareholders know what's going on. But like I said, not to step on any toes, but if we do something like that, I'd like to see one of our council members. Councilman Robles, you have a question?
Well, yeah, I just want to say that'd be a good thing to begin with, but, you know, I think we ought to look at how many shares we have and how much we can vote for a board member out of that as a goal.
The city has a fairly, I don't know the number, but it's a fairly substantial number of shares.
It's approximately 160.
Yeah, it's a substantial number of shares. I don't know that it's enough to swing a board member, but it is enough to be a vote and to be a voice on the board. And historically, it's been the city manager has kind of dealt with them. If the council would like to do that, I think that's a great way to have the council provide that feedback to the water district, and also to make sure that our views are seen on that board.
Well, go ahead, you have another question? Well, I would like to see Mayor Pro Tem Wilson on that, and then I would like to, as a committee member, and then our alternate, I'd like to save that for the vacant seat, whoever comes aboard, if we do process with this. Okay, and then on the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority, you know, since I've been on the council, and I respect her opinion and I respect her, I would like to give Councilmember Robles the San Bernardino, well, the SBCTA Authority board member, and I'll be the alternate. Councilmember Robles, will you take that position?
Yes, thank you.
All right, and then the San Bernardino County Waste Task, I mean, I did that. It's not a dream job, but Councilmember Allen's doing a really good job, and I also, on the vacant one, I like to have the new board member, council member on that. Another thing, because we had the San Bernardino County Gang and Task Force, which we don't use because I was on there before. But one thing I would like to see if we could possibly do it, and I've been keeping in touch with them, well, just it's hit and miss, is the Homeless Committee of the West Valley and the Youth Advisory Board. If we could reach out to them so we could have a council member and an alternate for any, to work with the sheriffs and with our HOPE program. So I would like to see, and then also because we have, you know, vets that are homeless, and I think a good person for that, who's a veteran, is Councilmember Allen, if he could be the city representative for that, if we do a new establishment. Would you? Yeah, a new one, because we don't use the San Bernardino County Gang. I'm trying to establish a homeless and a youth advisory for the homeless, and if there's any homeless vets, if we could work with that, with the sheriff on the whole program. Would you like to do that? And then we'll save the alternate for the new council member. The Omnitran Board of Directors, I'm going to take that as the board member, and I'll have Mr. Wilson as the alternate. The California JPIA, I'm going to have Mr. Wilson, or Mayor Pro Tem Wilson, and I'll do the alternate. The League of Cities, the voting delegate and alternate, you know, I'd love to see every council member there, but I think when we get close to the time, we'll see who our voting delegate and our alternate voting delegate, because we always ask anyway, and just keep those two open, so when it comes down to the annual meeting, that we could just go ahead and vote for them, right? Is that a suggestion that's all right with you?
If that's your desire, we can
Yeah.
leave it
So,
open.
because, you know, I know some of us get busy, because I know like one time, I think you went up to Sacramento by yourself, right? Because there's only, yeah. So I just like to keep those open. And then Colton Joint Unified School District Community Cabinet, I'd like to keep Mr. Allen on there, and I'm going to ask Ms. Robles, Councilman Robles, if he could be an alternate.
Okay.
All right. And SAG, Southern California Associated Government, we'll keep Mr. Wilson, and I'll do the alternate. And since I'm doing the committee appointments, that should be that on the forms, right?
Yes, I will get this updated, and you will get a new roster for the new,
Okay, well, let me know if I step out of bounds here. It says committees and boards and everything else. And one of the things that we talked about in the council is having an alternate for the planning commission, and that was brought up, it was never brought up on the agenda. So if it's all right, if it's in place here, I like to, have Brian Phelps as the alternate for a planning commission, if the council agrees with that. Or can we, or do we have to have an agenda item for it? Because he did come up, and we did mention it at the last picking.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would suggest that we agendize that for a separate meeting. Number one is we would have to adopt an ordinance to do that, and we have not done that yet. And then after that, we would have to appoint,
So can we agendize that in the council if we agree to bring Brian Phelps on as an alternate?
I would do it as a two-step process. I would adopt the ordinance first and make sure the council wants to take that action, and then do the appointment thereafter.
Because the only reason I mentioned, because we did look that way in the last time we had a pick, and I want to make sure our planning commission's, full steam ahead, because I know we had issues that were short. And Mayor Pro Tem, what do you think about Mayor Pro Tem Wilson? Do you agree?
Sorry. After the time that I spent on the Planning Commission, we were very fortunate that we had full-time attendance, but there has been a difficulty in relation to schedules, and we don't get unbusier as things go. So I think the idea of an alternate so far as the Planning Commission is wise. That way we don't lose any speed.
Mayor,
Councilmember Allen?
you want to discuss it now?
Well, Mr. Mayor,
We're just going to, I just want to ask your opinion. We're not going to pick
I have
him out.
one. But if you want to just wait till later, that's fine too.
Yeah. Well, we'll bring it back to agenda item.
Yeah,
Right.
we could put the ordinance back on the agenda at the first meeting in January
Okay.
for consideration.
Okay. So that's my appointments. Any questions on the appointments? No?
Nope.
Okay, so make a motion for the appointments. I get a second. Do we need a vote on this?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion. I need a second, so.
Second?
All right, please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, request future agenda items by the council. We have none. So council communication, Councilmember Allen.
Well, thanks, Mayor. I attended 3 events that I want to tell you about for the city events. The Light Up Grand Terrace on December 1 was, as usual, it gets even more amazing every year because of the turnout, the residents just love. We have residents or non-residents that come to our city for our celebration because we have such a good one, and I think that's great. I don't know if there was any estimate of the crowd that turned out, but what I noticed is that we get there's more and more pop-ups, more and more food trucks, more and more activities, more things to do, and more people participating, and I think that's just great. And the real accolades go to the volunteers. That's right, volunteers that actually put it all together. Of course, we did plant that new tree. Our staff did, and I think they did a great job of that. Then that Cars and Coffee Parade was something else. I think it was just amazing. They should had that on national television. It was really nice. They came right by our house. We had a big crowd of people drove up and crowded that whole intersection to be able to drop off the toys and enjoy that. And it was really great. Last night we celebrated a 44th birthday party for Grand Terrace right here in City Hall, and it was it's kind of low key, but it was a good event to remember our city and the people that had the vision to, and the will and the determination to put this all together and get it started 44 years ago. And a big thanks to them, you know, wherever they may be. And I just hope that we can make them proud and continue to move the city forward in a great direction. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Allen. Councilmember Robles?
Isn't Doug next?
Well, no, you put him for the mayor pro tem, so I'm saving.
Oh. Well, I, of course, also attended the Christmas lighting. Very impressed, especially with our student volunteers who perform and the parents who work hard that evening. And also attended the SCAG Economic Conference that day in Los Angeles. Got a lot of good information on economics and for the region. They sent us a packet, and I'll share it with the others. And I need to do my homework and do a deep dive, but they had by section, and for San Bernardino County, everything looked pretty good. And so I'm anxious to see post-COVID if we can get some traction going in this county. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Wilson?
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I realized I'm starting to write all these things down. We did a real active couple of months, especially when we cut out a couple of meetings. The Freedom Park, of course, our celebration there with the vets, and then of course, the Grand Terrace light up with the Christmas tree. And I want to thank the city manager personally, because he has accomplished something that took about 7 years, I think, to accomplish, and that is we got a live Christmas tree, and it will continue growing. Because I wanted a bigger tree, and he did that, and also it's going to be bigger every year.
But don't jinx
So I'll
us
be
on
able
the
to say congratulations every year.
Yeah, don't jinx us on the growing part. Let's
Yeah.
Maybe you can train the donkeys.
Yeah. Also, tonight, just before the meeting, I attended the sheriff's Christmas party and dropped off a couple of donations, and it was well attended. I got a chance to shake the hand of Sheriff Dykus, and then we tomorrow is the assembly member, our former assembly members, get together and toy donation. So anybody that's interested in going to that, please make arrangements. And I also attended the SCAG conference in Los Angeles, and it was a little bit thin on what I was looking for, but if you combine it with the SCAG conference in La Quinta, it turned out to be pretty good. In the long run, it's telling us what we need to know, and that is that we are in a precarious financial situation. But the great thing about it is, through the ability of the city to think ahead, we are not in the same precarious position everybody else is. And so those that are hanging out there with financial difficulties, and then it's going to just get a little bit worse probably, we are not contending with that. We've used common sense, and we continue to try to do that. And we've been a very conservative council all the way through. Those that have lobbied us for other services and things, and we're hanging on by our toenails. But 8 years ago, things were not so rosy. Things got better, and we hope to continue keeping them better. So appreciate that. That's all I have, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, yes, all our events, I mean, it's been quite a month. I mean, every day for me, it seemed like Groundhog Day waiting for the election results. It was pretty crazy, all the way to the end. I mean, when the county did those votes, and then I got congratulated, but there were still 250,000 votes out. I don't know what was going on. So, but thank you, everybody, for your prayers and, support. And, but, all these events were made possible, by our committee members and the staff, the volunteers. I mean, thank you very much. I mean, council, we just go there and it says council, we just go by the tent and, pour hot chocolate. I think we did 400 cups of hot chocolate. We ran out, so we might have to do 800 cups next year in the tree lighting thing. But, you make our job easier, and, we're proud of everybody who comes out there and do the volunteers. I know it's somebody has an ungrateful, unthankful job, you know, people always say, well, you could do this and do that. And what I recommend for you, when they say that, you just give them a volunteer form. You know, so just do that, and, you know, because we need volunteers. And, you know, and I want to thank my council, you know, here, and, you know, thank you for, you know, it's being with me, supporting me, and, you know, being my team, you know, because we're a team here. I don't override anybody. I just run the agendas. You know, I want to work together. What's the best for these residents? And I look forward, you know, the leadership that we have here, and the leadership you guys are going to be on the committees, and the new committees that we're starting, you know, especially, you know, because like what we say about the homelessness, you know, it's going to be an ongoing issue. We had one here forever, but the state created that issue, I believe. But, you know, if we could just take care of it, and I know our HOPE program goes out there and tries to get them programs, but nobody wants to take the programs. So we just got to stay on top of it, and the biggest thing is, you know, residents is the fear factor, not knowing what's going to happen. So I know we had some public comments tonight, and I know the city manager will take care of that, and if we, you know, have to tweak it or anything, but, if, you know, anything on parks and stuff, you know, that's what we did at Park and Rec, so we know about it. And we voted back in March, and I can't remember that far back, I guess, but, you know, we're doing it for the best, because going out here campaigning, the residents, what their number one thing they wanted parks. They wanted more places to play. And so there you go. So we'll just have to work with the residents and stuff. I know sometimes, you know, when that green belt, I think when it's put together, it might increase the property value. But that's city manager's job, you know, but we're here for you on that. But, you know, please just let us know. But, you know, once again, thank you for the council members, and thank you for my wife. She stayed here. I'm like, oh, I looked over here and she stayed. So thank her. You know, thank you, Debbie, for everything you've done for me, and, you know, being my backbone, my support, and just praying with me at night, you know, for this. And, you know, we did it, you know, and thank all my friends, you know, that helped me and stuff, and just, you know, getting the word out there and continue to move forward. But once again, Merry Christmas and God bless everybody. And we'll now have it for city manager communications.
I wanted to reiterate really the great success we had with Light Up Grand Terrace, the veterans, the recognition of the veterans, and the toy parade. Johan's still here with the toy parade. I want to thank the staff, the council for making these things really great successes, and most importantly, thank the residents. These are the kind of events that bring communities together, make people proud to live that they live in the cities they live in, and are really the quality of life things that make it a great community. And to have the residents, the volunteers, the people active in it, and the people that come and enjoy it, and really, really behave themselves and have a good time as part of that, is what makes this such a great city. So I want to thank everybody involved, from council to staff to residents. It was a great deal. And with that, I do wish everybody a great holiday and a happy new year.
Thank you. One last thing I wanted to mention, because Saturday for Sick and Tired, they are handing out the gifts at Richard Rawlings Park and other things. So if the council would like to be out there to help, that'd be great. It's a great way. Anybody volunteers that like to help, you know, set it up and stuff, so that'd be great. You can see Mr. Johan, he's got the details on that. Okay, so we closed session, none. So our next regular city council meeting will be held on Tuesday, January 10th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Any request to have an item placed on a future agenda must be made in writing and submitted to the city clerk's office, and the request will be processed in accordance with council procedures. So, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We'll see you next year. God bless.